Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The New York Knicks are on a 5-game winning streak. 5-game winning streak. We talk about small goals. Small goals. So now what? Let's look at them small goals. They've won 3 in a row. I'm sorry, they've won 5 in a row. And they're 3 games above 500. Right? Because that was the next goal. Let's get 3 games above 500. Let's win 5 in a row. They've done it. And this team is growing smarter. They trust each other. They believe in each other. They're doing some things. They're playing some good basketball right now, led by none other than Julius Randle, ladies and gentlemen. Julius Randle is playing magnificent basketball. I think he had 34 points against the Lakers, 32 points against Memphis, and then 41 points tonight in his hometown of Dallas, Texas. This team right here, they're serious, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta love what you're seeing. You gotta feel good about it. The New York Knicks jumped out to an early lead over the Dallas Mavericks. They built up a 12-point lead. Julius Randle came out firing away, knocking down threes, going inside, outside. He was killing. But somehow, some way, the Knicks do what the Knicks do. They let Dallas back into the game. Not that Dallas was out of the game, but they let him back in the game. Dallas goes on a run in the second quarter, takes that 12-point lead, dwindles it down to 1. But the Knicks take a 5-point lead in the halftime. Third quarter, Dallas, they come out. They're trying to build something. They build as much as maybe a 5-point lead in that third quarter. And I'm not gonna lie, I started to get flashbacks of game number 1, where the Knicks had built up a 13-point lead and then let it slip. But the Knicks wasn't having it this time. And you know what? Julius Randle wasn't having it this time. Anytime we needed a big bucket to stop the Dallas Mavericks from scoring, to stop the bleeding, Julius Randle was there. And although the Dallas Mavericks built a small lead in the third quarter, somehow, some way, the Knicks found a way to have like a 1-point lead at the end of the third quarter. And then they dominated the fourth quarter. The New York Knicks did. They dominated the fourth quarter in another game. Maybe this is the 3rd game in a row. We're coming down the stretch. The Knicks had a double-digit lead coming down the stretch. So all of these games where they were losing, these close games, this team is like a sponge. They suck up information and they learn, and then they spit out success. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. What we're seeing from the New York Knicks right now, ladies and gentlemen. The Dallas Mavericks, of course, they were led by Luka Doncic. He had 22 points. He had 22 points tonight. 19 assists for Luka. 8 rebounds. Kristaps Porzingis was the only person on the team to score more than him. He had 23 points and 12 rebounds for the Dallas Mavericks. Finney Smith, he had 13 points. Tim Hardaway Jr., he had 16 points. Jalen Brunson had 6 points. Maxi Kleber, he had 6 points. Wasn't enough for the Dallas Mavericks. Wasn't enough because Julius Randle said, no, it's not going that way. I'm in my hometown. This is my spot, ladies and gentlemen. Julius Randle had 44 points. I said 41 earlier. Should have said 44. I don't want to short the brother. He had 44 points tonight, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. Julius Randle had an all-NBA type of game. He shot 55% from the field. He shot 55% from the three-point line. And he was 6 for 9 from the free throw line. And as many times as he had the ball in his hands tonight, ladies and gentlemen, as many times as he had the ball in his hands tonight, 3 turnovers for Julius Randle. 3 turnovers. RJ Barrett, he shot well tonight. When Julius Randle was getting double or triple teamed, he was able to find R.J. Barrett, and R.J. Barrett delivered. He had 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists. 1 steal for R.J. Barrett as well, and just 1 turnover for R.J. Barrett. Derrick Rose was able to chip in and give us some buckets tonight. He was 7 for 13 from the field, 1 for 2 from the three-point line. He had 15 points and 5 assists. He also had 1 steal. Reggie Bullock had 11 points and 5 rebounds. Nerlens Noel had 6 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks, and 1 monster block. Monster block. If they don't put that one on ESPN, that was a monster block. That's a highlight. I don't care what anybody says. Elfrid Payton had 6 points and 7 rebounds and 6 assists tonight. Taj Gibson had 4 points. And guess what, Cornerstone? Frank Ntilikina had 4 points tonight. He was 1 for 1 from the field. He was 1 for 2 from the free throw line. We'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it from Frank Ntilikina. And he did that in 3 minutes and 56 seconds. Beautiful game from the New York Knicks tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful game. You got to love it. You got to love the feeling right now because this team is, they're feeling good about themselves. Feel good about them. Feel good about them. You know what, Josh? I was on a show about maybe 2 weeks ago. Right. And we were looking at the Knicks schedule. And when we were looking at the schedule, I said, New Orleans, that's a winnable game. I said, Dallas is a winnable game. I said, and the other New Orleans, that's a winnable game. I said, Memphis was a winnable game. And the host started giggling at me. I'd say they were winnable. I'm not even going to go any further. I'd say they were winnable.
I wonder what show that was.
Great game by the New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. Great game by the New York Knicks. Kev, I'm going to start with you. How you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling great. I'm on cloud 9 right now because this team really is a throwback to those 90 teams. A team that's starting to be mentally tough, physically tough, and just making all of the right moves and right decisions on the court. This is a testament to who Tibbs is, what he stands for, and you could just see his mark on this team. I'm totally happy for what's going on. I believe in this team. I don't know where this team is going to take us into the playoffs because we will be in the playoffs, but I'm just going to enjoy the ride, man. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, no doubt. Josh?
Salute the chat, salute the MBK family, salute the panel, Sim, what's going on. I just want to monologue this with 3 points that I've been thinking about all the entire night. First and foremost, the Knicks played the Mavericks in Dallas against Porzingis on ESPN, and we won the game. So please, Nick Twitter, Nick Nation, whatever, please get rid of this whole conspiracy that ESPN and the NBA is against the Knicks. Please get rid of that because this team is good. They showed you why they are good tonight. Okay, that's number one. Number two, when the Knicks lost to the Mavericks last time, everyone was so down on this team. It was the second in a row I think we lost, and everyone was so down on this team. Oh, this team is not going to make the playoffs. We're on the brink of not making the playoffs and everything like that. And I posted in the chat, I said, this team can go on a 5-game winning streak and it'll be all sunshine and rainbows again. And lo and behold, this team goes on a 5-game winning streak and it's all sunshine and rainbows. This team is not more mentally tired or not more physically tired than anybody else in the NBA. This team is who they are. They're a good team. They're going to compete with any team in the NBA, any team. Those games against Philly, those games against Brooklyn, the Celtics game, they lost by 1 possession. Those games came down to the wire, 1 possession games. Okay, so this team is going to compete. I'm not saying they're going to win a playoff series or anything like that, but they're going to compete. They're not going to get blown out the gym. Okay, that's number 2. And number 3, like I've been saying since the middle of the season, this team is 1 player away. 1 player away from being legitimate in the Eastern Conference. really legitimate, and it's because of the way they play defense. If they can add one more player to this team, a star player to this team, look out. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right. Hey, I can't argue with you, man. Listen, I'm one of those people that was questioning, are they mentally and emotionally tired? I was wondering and questioning, and they answered me. They said, nah, we not. Check this out. Watch this. They go on and win 5 straight. Great game by the New York Knicks. Some things that I did notice throughout the game is, we won the game. I do feel like we missed Alec Burks tonight. There were moments throughout the game, especially in that third quarter when the Mavericks took the lead, where there was nobody else that could create a shot, that could put pressure on the Mavericks, and it was all Julius Randle had to create something to happen. I think that's where we missed Alec Burks tonight. And it was noticeable to me. Luckily, Derrick Rose was able to step up and create some things. And Julius Randle had a monster night with 44 points. I don't know. Is that a career high for Julius Randle?
I don't believe it is him.
I'm not sure.
That's a good question. I know it's the third one in his career, third 40-point game in his career. But I don't think it's how much did he score the last game when he had 40? Wasn't it like 40?
41 or something like that. Somewhere around there.
It might be. It might be.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But it was noticeable to me, and part of the reason why I think Julius Randle had to score those points tonight. And kudos to Julius Randle, because he wanted this game, not only because he was home and in Dallas, but because he understood and knew the implications of this game.
Yeah.
He understood and knew the implications of this game. And for the Knicks to, listen, win those 3 games at home and then take 2 on the road, and now they're back home to take on the New Orleans Pelicans, which still is not going to be an easy game because the Pelicans are going to be on their get backs. They're going to be on their get backs, but the Knicks are in a good state right now. They're getting contributions all over the floor. Right, all over the floor. They're getting contributions tonight. Yeah. And everybody, I'm going to tell you what I love about this team the most. RJ Barrett didn't play down the stretch of the fourth quarter in the previous game. It didn't bother him. He understood why he didn't play. He came out and just stayed mentally tough and played his basketball game. There are nights when Elfrid Payton, doesn't play the second half. He comes out in the third quarter and doesn't play again. But he's always ready to contribute when he's called upon. It's the same for Reggie Bullock. It's the same for Nerlens Noel. It's the same for everybody on this team. When you talk about a team, a lot of teams say it, right? Nobody cares who does this. Nobody cares who does that. Nobody cares who scores. Blah, 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 blah. You know what? I really believe it with this team. Obviously Julius Randle is the leading scorer. He is the primary option on this team. But nights when he doesn't have it, we've seen Julius Randle take 10 shots but rack up 12 assists because he knew he didn't have it that night. This team truly is a team that understands their roles, where they're supposed to be on the floor, why they're out there, and they're okay with the reason that they're out there, and they do their job. And you heard Tom Thibodeau the other day. I think he said about Reggie Bullock. I think he was talking about Reggie Bullock and maybe Nerlens Noel. But he said he's a star in his role. A star in his role. And that's all you got to do. Be a star in your role, and you can contribute to the team. And this team, they display that. They are the epitome of that. They are the epitome of that. And right now, in this 5-game win streak, you understand. Sorry, Josh, and I know your stance. And yes, I wanted to add someone at the deadline too, but you understand where they were coming from when they talk about the chemistry of this team. Because now they're on a 5-game win streak. In Miami, they're below us in the standings again. Right? They're below us in the standings again. Now they are And this is how the NBA goes. Teams flip-flop all around throughout the season. But now Miami's lost 3 straight. They're 28-28, and we're a game and a half above them. We're in the 6th seed. How do you feel about that now, Josh?
I'm
gonna come to you in the Cornerstone.
The same exact way. Oh, okay.
No. I'm gonna come to the Cornerstone after.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Josh.
I still feel the exact same way. Miami's been having chemistry issues all season, the entire season. This is nothing new. When they got that trade for Oladipo, they didn't all of a sudden start having chemistry issues and losing games. This has been happening the entire season. Same thing with Atlanta, even though Atlanta's, they're starting to trend in the upward direction. So this is nothing new for Miami. I just felt that the Knicks needed to, as far as playoffs are concerned and their seeding, they needed to add someone to the roster. And frankly, for cheap. Quite frankly, for cheap, because all these moves that were made was some real cheap deals that other teams made to get better. Obviously the Knicks, as of right now, they don't need it, but I still feel like they need to add some players to this roster. I'm not saying stop, improving this roster. I'm not gonna concede to that.
No, we're talking about we're just talking about short term, temporarily at the deadline. I think you can kind of understand because, like you said, they've been having chemistry issues all season long. And I think the Knicks, felt like, hey, we have good chemistry. We're cohesive. Let's not break that right now. And right now, at this moment, obviously this could change in 6 games. But at this very moment, it seems like what they said is, or what they chose to do was a good move. That's what it seems like right now. You know what I mean? Obviously in 6 games, we could be saying, oh my God, they should have added such and such and such, right? They could be. It could be. You already know that. But right now, It seems like they made a good, they had good foresight, it seems like. Right now, it looks like that. You know what I mean? And we'll see if they continue to excel and grow. I don't even know how much more you can say about this game. It was just it's just a feel-good game for a team. They had a 12-point lead, they lost the lead, and then they took it back. In another fourth quarter, they dominated. It's another fourth quarter that they dominated tonight, and their defense is really learning how to step up. That was one of the things that I talked about. I said it feels like the Knicks have to put out so much energy early in the game that they don't have enough energy to step up in that fourth quarter. But you know what? The Knicks scored 34 points tonight in the fourth quarter. They held, I don't want to say they held, but they gave up 30 points to the Dallas Mavericks. But you know what? That 30 points, some of those buckets came down the stretch when the Knicks had kind of had the game in the bag. They gave up some threes and some things like that. For the most part, they put the clamps down in that fourth quarter. Go ahead, Cornerstone.
Yeah, they played a much better this go around than they did the last time. It seemed like when we had the 12-point lead and in the second quarter, and we started to give it up, give it back to them, and then eventually in the third quarter they got the lead. Their biggest lead was 4. They didn't get past 4.
Right.
And we kept going and going and going at them. And then finally we were able to expand that lead again. And this time I think we didn't fold underneath the pressure when they were trying to make their run. And everything.
But Kev, but my thing always has been Knicks have been doing that the entire season. They've been going neck and neck with teams the entire season. The only question was, can they be able to finish the game? And I always thought it was a positive that the Knicks had that experience early in the season, that they were going neck and neck with teams. And even though they lost towards the end, they lost. I thought that was a positive because then that start giving them some confidence moving forward, as far as knowing how to deal with those situations. And everything is starting to show, and everything is coming to fruition now.
Right. Well, the thing about it was when they in those games that we lost by let's call it what it is. I mean, we lost by a basket or so. In those games, we had double-digit leads and we took the foot off the gas, and we let them back in, and then eventually they got the lead, and then they, that team, maintained it and everything. I think those experiences helped us to be more focused and start winning these close games, and now winning, by a larger margin.
Yeah.
And everything. So,
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it.
Right, without a doubt. Big shout out to everybody that's out there, man. We appreciate you all for jumping on. It's 12:30 in the morning, and you jumped on. It's almost 1 o'clock, so I appreciate all of you. Thank you all. Big shout out to 23 Blade. He says, Sim, how many people do we got on the All NBA defense? You know what? We don't have any. After this season, it might change. But right now, they do it through team defense. It is a team defensive mindset, right? The entire team has this defensive mindset, and that's kudos to Tom Thibodeau and the coaching staff. Ariel Diaz, he said, we chant MVP to Julius Randle, but I think he should seriously be considered. He probably won't, but, man, it's hard to ignore. Great show, guys. I'm going to come back to that. Let me read the rest of these super chats. I'm going to come back to that. Dylan B, thank you for the super chat.
Sam.
He said, I remember you saying that, Josh. Salute, great W. Obviously talking about what you were saying before, Josh. And Dan Alcanet, he said, Josh, we won, and the caption on ESPN is Luka Magic. And that's something that I did want to say to you, Josh. I didn't get a chance to. I forgot about it. But see, Dan, I agree, right? The NBA's not out to get the Knicks. They want the Knicks. The NBA loves the Knicks. They want the Knicks to be well. But you can't tell me that ESPN don't have a thing against the Knicks. Can't tell me that. I'm sorry.
No, Sam.
Okay.
The Knicks are a national. The Knicks. ESPN is a national network. Until the Knicks actually do something in the playoffs, it will be like this. So we have to prove them wrong. But what I'm saying, it's not anything personal.
I disagree. Let me ask you this. What have the Dallas Mavericks done lately in the playoffs? Not much. They've been to the playoffs. A lot of years they weren't. They've been to the playoffs. Back in 10 years ago, whatever. They won a championship. But since then, it's been okay. The Knicks won. Julius Randle has 44 points, and the caption on ESPN is Luka Magic.
Sam, the Mavericks have been in the playoffs. Okay. Luka has shown time and time again that he's a clutch basketball player. That's why it's like that.
I'm just gonna say to you, Josh. I'm just gonna say to you, go do some research and look at the way ESPN talks about the Knicks. Then we can talk about it again. Big shout out to Chet.
It's because we haven't been good, but we're good now. We're good now, Sam.
There's a lot of teams. There's a lot of teams that have not been good just as long as the New York Knicks, and they don't get the same ridicule. Yep. Bottom line. They still get it. Bottom line. Yep. And I'm talking about ESPN. Absolutely. I'm not talking about Fox Sports. I'm talking about ESPN. To any ESPN people out there listening, I'm talking about you. Anyway, Chetnik, thank you for the super chat. He said, when you were talking about a star player, he said that player is Kawhi Leonard. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens on that front.
Yeah.
Let me get to this phone call. Then I want to get back and talk about that Julius Randle and MVP and All NBA discussion. All right, caller, you live. What's popping?
Sam, what's going on?
What's going on with you, my brother? How you feeling?
Hey, man, this was special tonight. It was a culmination of a lot of things. I felt like, all the work we put in, all the shows that you do to prepare, all the shoot-arounds. We're here. Everybody got to see what we saw in this team, and they deserved it. Julius Randle tonight had the first game as a Knick since Bernard King in 1985. 40, 10, and 5 in a regular season game.
Yeah.
That's special.
That is. And who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it would have been Julius Randle?
No handle Randle.
I think the free ball has changed everything for him. And I liked how out of a timeout, Sam, I said, even though he was making, he had everything going, but I wanted to get to the free throw line. And I think it was out of a timeout. Tibbs set a play to get him on that post. He got an and one, and you felt good.
Mm-hmm.
I think they only had 3 free throw attempts at halftime. And I know those dudes fouled at the end, but I was happy with it. I think we got to the line 21 times.
Yeah. And we needed that. We talked about that in the game preview, that we really needed to get to the line tonight. I said that I wanted us to get to the line 25 times tonight. And hopefully make at least 20 of those 25. And, I don't know if we got to the line. We got to the line tonight 21 times, like you just said, and we made 15 to 21. So, it
was good.
Yeah, at least we can deal with that. We can't have the last time we played them, we went to the line 10 times. Can't have that.
Mm-hmm. I just want to say this about RJ. We all knew without Burks, RJ had to be there for us, and he was.
Yep.
Fourth quarter, I think he gave us the first 8 or 10 points.
Yep.
So, just what the doctor ordered, Sam. That's what I love about this team. Randle had the mentality coming into the game, I'm going to be that guy to set the tone. And RJ, and smart on Tibbs to play RJ with the second unit to start the fourth.
Mm-hmm.
That's good coaching. And last thing I'll say is Nerlens Noel. Re-sign this man.
Hey, I'm with you, bro.
Sam, I just wanted to say this, man. Your show is so special. Shout out to Cornerstone and his boy Frank. Shout out to Uncle Fulio. We deserve this.
That's
Everything we've been through, Sam.
That's right.
I don't care if this wasn't a playoff game tonight, but to me, this was special.
That's right.
So I want you guys to have a good night's sleep and be proud of yourselves for what you did tonight. That's all I got to say.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it, Spree. All right. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's exactly what I'm talking about. The Knicks are on a 5-game winning streak, ladies and gentlemen, and that is tied for the best winning streak in the league. The Boston Celtics are also on a 5-game winning streak. The Knicks are tied for the best winning streak in the league right now.
Sim, fans still don't believe what's going on.
That's the crazy part. I'm telling you, Kev, that's the crazy part right there.
Hey, you know what?
Believe what's going on.
The Knicks will continue to prove them wrong. Let's put it like that. They'll continue to do it. Let's talk about Julius Randle. He has to be, in my opinion, Julius Randle has to at least be mentioned among the most valuable players in the league. He has to be, because if you take him off the Knicks are the Knicks are one of the bottom teams in the league. And I'm not saying he has to win MVP. He doesn't have to win MVP. But he at least has to be mentioned. And he definitely, as of right now, he's got to be an all-NBA player. And if the Knicks make the playoffs, there's no way he's not an all-NBA player. No way. No way he's not an all-NBA player. Talk to me, Josh.
I knew you were calling on me first. For Randle, All-NBA, definitely. Most improved player, absolutely. Most improved player, absolutely, no question. MVP, not so much. And here's the reason why. Julius Randle, by definition of the award, most valuable to their team, Julius Randle is an MVP caliber player. But if you look at the history of the award, it has always been given to players who have been on teams who are top 1 or 2 seeds, in their conferences. And I think because the Knicks aren't that's why you can't include Julius Randle in the conversation. By definition, yes, he is most valuable player because he is most valuable to this Knicks team more than any other player in the NBA. But based on the history of the award, no, he will not be in the conversation for MVP. I hope everybody can understand that. I'm not hating. Julius Randle's playing well. He's balling, but he can't be in the MVP conversation. Not over Harden, not over Embiid, Joker, all those guys. He won't be over those guys.
But can he get a mention? Can he get an honorable mention?
fine, sure.
But it's not even an honorable mention. It's not even an honorable mention. You have the media that votes, and if the media is paying attention, at least somebody would say, yes, Julius Randle gets a vote for MVP. I'm not saying he's not going to win MVP. We know that.
No, he's not.
He's not going to win MVP. But I do think he should be mentioned in the conversation for MVP. I mean, how can you not?
Yeah.
I mean, it's clear. If you take him off this team,
we're stuck.
The team is nowhere.
I agree, but I mean, I'm just looking at the history of the award. It's always been given to players who are on teams that are top 1, top 2 seeds in their conference. That's just the history of the award. That's how they look at it. They do it based on wins and losses as well. You know what I'm saying? And Julius Randle deserves to be mentioned in it. He definitely deserves it. I'm not saying he doesn't. He deserves it, no question. But will he? I don't think he will get up there with those because we don't have enough wins. We're not top in the conference.
I get it.
But he should.
Go ahead, Kev.
But he should win Most Improved. He should win that.
Oh yeah, no question about that. No question about that.
Yeah.
Him, Jordan Clarkson, those are the 2 players I will put on that list for Most Improved Player. I would definitely give it to Randle for sure. No problem.
So right now,
and the reason why. Okay, yeah.
Right now, here are and this was just put out 15 hours ago. The top 5 players in the MVP ladder. You got Jokic. He's number 1 with the Nuggets. Okay. Joel Embiid. This is from NBA. This is from NBA.com. Joel Embiid from the 76ers. Okay. You got Luka from the Dallas Mavericks. All right. Now, and look, Luka's averaging 28 points per game, 7.9 rebounds per game, 8.6 assists per game. All right. Obviously, he's an all-NBA caliber player.
Right.
Giannis. Right. He's averaging 28.5 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, one steal, 1 block. And then you got Damian Lillard. He's averaging 28.7, 4.2 rebounds, 7.7 assists. All right, and then your next 5, you got Kawhi Leonard. This is the next 5 now. Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert. And then the 5 after that, not even Donovan Mitchell in the next 5. Donovan Mitchell is in the last 5. Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, Kyrie, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler right now. In the next 5, you're talking about Jimmy Butler for the Miami Heat, who are below the New York Knicks. And then you got the Phoenix Suns. Now, if you're looking at that 15, how could he not be even mentioned in that 15? We'll see if next week if he's mentioned in that 15.
That's a problem. I agree. That's a problem.
Now,
That's a problem.
This is NBA.com right now. And how do they do their rankings? I'm not sure how they do their rankings. But how can he not be mentioned in that 15? At least 2 players. Right? I know what Rudy Gobert is to the Utah Jazz. I know what Jimmy Butler is to the Miami Heat. But what is Julius Randle to the New York Knicks? He means way more to the New York Knicks than Jimmy Butler. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah. When you mention those metrics, Sam, that makes the difference. He needs to be talked about in that conversation.
Yeah, so we'll see if he gets up there. Jonathan JD, thank you for the super chat. He said, "Sim, a birdie told me this new show, The Queen's Court, just put pressure on you guys. You got to step up your game. Yeah, we got to step up our game. They cooked it over there earlier today. The Queen's Court cooked it over there. They cooked it over there, man. It was a great show. You guys got to go check it out. It's a great show." Dan Alcanet, he said ESPN.
But I'm going to take my girl.
Hold up.
What I was going to say was I'm going to take my girl. Oh, go ahead.
Dan Alcanet, he said ESPN showed the clips. I love when they were doing what we doing now. Okay, so they're doing what we're doing right now, I guess. And then 007 Angelo, thank you for the super chat. He said, "Hi everyone, great win. ESPN are haters, and I hate them back." But go ahead, Cornerstone.
What I was gonna say was, we're talking about Randle and everything about MVP. You know, Coach Tibbs has got to get. You know, he's got to win Coach of the Year. He's got to win Coach of the Year. I'm sorry.
There's no question about that. I have no. Yeah. That's he definitely needs to be in that conversation. That's a conversation right there. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Him and Monty Williams from Phoenix.
I agree with that too.
Yeah, Monty Williams from Phoenix. Yeah, they're both going to be up there because the Phoenix Suns are one of the top 2 teams in the Western Conference right now. So yeah, they're definitely going to be up there.
Yes, sir.
Definitely going to be up there. Looking at the power rankings from just a couple of days ago, and I'm sure the New York Knicks are going to rise in these power rankings. These are, about 4 or 5 days ago. The Phoenix Suns have rose to number 1 in the league as far as NBA power rankings. Utah Jazz number 2, the Brooklyn Nets number 3, the Denver Nuggets number 4, the Clippers are at 5, 76ers at 6, Milwaukee's at 7, the Dallas Mavericks at 8, considered one of the top 10 teams in the league. The Miami Heat at 9, but this was a couple days ago, so obviously things change. This isn't even relevant now. The Lakers were at 10, the Blazers at 11, the Grizzlies at 12, the Hawks at 13, the Celtics at 14, the Spurs at 15, the Hornets at 16, and the Knicks were at 17. Obviously, at this point, we probably are past. We should be rising past the Hornets. We should be rising. I'm not going to say past the Celtics because they're on a 5-game win streak as well. The Hawks are playing well. We should be rising probably past Memphis, probably past Dallas. I don't know about the Lakers because, the Lakers obviously are banged up. But, we might move into that top. We should move into the top 13.
Hey, Sam, who was number 10?
The Lakers. But this was a while ago. Right? This is 5 days ago. So things have obviously changed since 5 days ago. I thought maybe they had it more updated.
Yeah, we should be, if we win on Sunday, we should be like either 11 or 10. We really should.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Ariel Diaz, thank you for the super chat. He said, and boom, another super chat for you guys. One of my favorite Knicks channels. I always tune in to you guys. Keep up the great work. I appreciate you for always tuning in, my friend. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, man. So the Knicks, listen, they're in the midst of this playoff push, and I know I did a show maybe a week and a half ago, and it was all about the Knicks playoff push, and we talked about what they needed to do to have success. And a lot of people, I seen a lot of people in the chat laughed. Oh, the Knicks playoff push, ha 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 ha. You know what? We're in the midst of it, and we're being successful right now. We got 15 games left to this season, ladies and gentlemen. 15 games left to the season. We play the Pelicans on Sunday, right? Josh, what do you think about this Pelicans game?
Same way I thought about it the first time we played them. Same exact way I thought. The Pelicans don't, they don't scare me. The player that to look out for is definitely Zion Williamson. He's their catalyst for everything. I'm not sleeping on Brandon Ingram. I'm definitely not sleeping on him. But as long as the Knicks come out and play the defense that we all know they can play, I'm not worried about any team, and definitely I'm not worried about the Pelicans. I'm not saying sleep on them or anything like that, take them for granted or anything like that, because this Knicks team has shown that they have, fell asleep at the wheel and they can, fall asleep sometimes. But as long as we continue to play the defense we're playing, I'm not worried about any team, let alone the Pelicans.
Will Burks be able to come back Sunday or no?
We don't know what's going on with him yet. Yeah.
I doubt it.
We don't know. We don't know if his health and safety protocol was due to him being, actually having COVID, or if it's contact tracing or what. The Knicks normally don't put that information out, and they're not allowed to let you know if a player had COVID or not. It's up to that player to let you know. Right? So they can't just
hippo.
HIPAA, exactly, those HIPAA laws. So all they can say is COVID protocol, which means you don't know, which way it goes. But even if he's not
I
back,
should know that. I'm in
the Knicks will be home to start off this homestand, right? They should be
6 games.
I feel like, and Josh, you're right. We've seen this Knicks team kind of let their foot off the gas, but I feel like even when they were losing, I felt like they were focused. They just didn't know how to win those games, right? When they were losing those close ones, I still felt like they were focused. They might have lost focus during the game, but I felt like they were focused. Wasn't sure if they could start to pull those games out. They're pulling them out now. But I feel like this team is focused, and they have taken those bumps and bruises throughout the season where they know we can't let up against anybody. Now, New Orleans is going to come out with some venom. There's no doubt about that. They're coming out with some venom on Sunday, right? Sunday. It's going to be a daytime matinee game, 1 p.m. All right. And we're going to have to, I think, come out and match their intensity straight from the beginning. They're coming off of a loss to the Washington Wizards in overtime. Brandon Ingram had 34 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Russell Westbrook, he had 36 points, 15 rebounds, and 9 assists. All right, they're coming off a loss, and they are going to be looking to, try to get that back. I'm not exactly sure right now how many games they've won or lost in a row. I'm assuming they've lost at least 2 in a row. Right, because they lost to us, and now they lost to the Washington Wizards. So they're going to be a team that's looking a little bit desperate, and they are falling out of that race for that 10th seed right now. They've lost 2 in a row. They're 2 games behind San Antonio, who they've also lost 2 in a row. Right, but they're 3 games back in the loss column behind San Antonio. All right, they're 25-31. San Antonio is 26-28. All right, so they're probably feeling a little bit of pressure, a little bit desperate. Like, hey, we got to get some wins. We need to get a win under our belt so we can get back into this conversation. So I'm expecting them to come out with some energy and intensity, and I think we've got to match that intensity to come out with. Kev, what do you think about it? What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I think we can. I think once we haven't, I think we can win the game. I think if you talk about matching their intensity, I think that once we take their spirit a little bit, we'll have it in hand. And what I also wanted to say was, I had this team winning 35 plus, and we're already at 30 right now. So. The sky's the limit right now. It really is. I think some people had him 30 plus as well. I had him at 35. If we get past 35, man, I'm telling you, man, this year was a success.
Hey, well, let me tell you what. We got 5 games to go to get to 35. 5 wins. We need 6 wins to secure that 500 slot. To secure a 500 record. I mean. 6 wins to lock down a 500 record. What'd you say, Josh?
Well, yeah, to get to 36 wins, 36 out of 72, which is 500.
Yeah.
Josh, before the season began, how many wins did you have them winning?
18.
Wow.
I'm keeping it real. That's what I had. 18 wins.
Wow.
I had him in high 20s.
Man, so that says a lot, man.
But 6 games to get to 500, ladies and gentlemen. That's where we are right now. 6 games to get to 500. If you're just joining us, welcome. Thank you. You probably know by now that the New York Knicks defeated the Dallas Mavericks. Luka, Kristaps Porzingis. They beat them in Dallas. 117-109. Great game by the New York Knicks. They go 3 games above 500. They're on a 5-game win streak. And if you take a look at the numbers behind the game, the Knicks, they're tied in rebounds, 52-52. The Knicks had 22 assists on the night. The Mavericks had 30 assists. And this is a team that, Luka had 19 assists by himself. So
19 out of the 30.
Exactly. He had 19 assists by himself. So he was in that aspect, he was definitely hooping tonight. Right. But the Knicks did a good job on Luka. I'll say that. They did a good job on Luka tonight. 4 steals for the Knicks, 6 for the Mavericks, 5 blocks for the Knicks, and 1 monster block by Nerlens Noel. Dallas Mavericks had 7 blocks on the night. Only 9 turnovers for both teams. Both teams took care of the basketball pretty well tonight. Both teams took care of that basketball pretty well. The Knicks shot 51% from the field, ladies and gentlemen. 51% from the field, 44% for the Mavs. The Knicks shot 50% from the three-point line. And, in the beginning of the season, everybody was, the Knicks can't shoot. They can't shoot. They can't spread the floor. Well, that narrative has changed dramatically. The Knicks were 14 for 28 from the three-point line tonight. The Mavs shot, listen, check this out. The Knicks were 14 for 28. They made 50% of their three-point baskets. The Mavs shot 45 three-point baskets, but they still made more three-point baskets than the Knicks. They only shot 33%. They were 15 for 45 from that three-point line tonight. 45. They shot 45 three-pointers. And I know to many of you, it's like, yeah, Sam, that happens every single night. But to me, it's still like, damn, these guys shot 45 threes? Still like that for me. I mean, look, they shot 91 shots overall. So half of their shots, a little bit less than half of their shots with three-pointers. I guess I'm just from the old school. That's why it still amazes me. Forgive me. Forgive me for that. The Knicks lost the point in the paint, the battle of the paint to the Mavericks. The Mavs scored 42 points in the paint. The Knicks, 38 points in the paint. 12 second chance points for the Knicks, 14 for the Mavs. The Knicks, again, stop a team from really killing you on the break. The Knicks had 8 fast break points, and the Mavericks only had 9 fast break points. Again, great defensive effort from the New York Knicks. And listen, they do it every game. They do it every single game. And their next game is the New Orleans Pelicans, another team that they just beat, had a 10-point lead down the stretch. And I'm looking for the Knicks to be focused, stay focused, and come out and get another win against the New Orleans Pelicans, 6 in a row. That's what I'm looking for. G-Man for life, thank you for the super chat. He said, Kev, wake up. You're looking lost right now. You can't hide from me, little man. Stop saying He said, stop. He's trying to get your grammar right,
It's past his bed. Hey, it's past his bedtime.
He's trying to help you. He's trying to help you get that grammar. Yeah, we haven't seen Dusty Knicks hat in a couple of shows. He made an appearance for a couple of shows and now he's gone. I guess he'll come back. I don't know.
Yeah, I had it on Ron's show earlier tonight and everything.
Dusty Knicks hat.
But
Anyway, so this is what I want to do now. As I'm looking for this. I'm waiting for the Tom Thibodeau's post game, so we can listen to a little bit of what Tom Thibodeau had to say. But as we're waiting for that, I want to talk about the upcoming schedule. And look at these last 15 games. We got 15 games to go. I want to get your thoughts on these 15 games. All right? Mm-hmm. We'll start with the next 5 games, the next 6 games. I'm going to read them out, and then we'll talk about them. We play the Pelicans on Sunday. That's a 1 o'clock game. It's an early game. Then we play the Hornets. Then we play the Hawks. Then we play the Toronto Raptors. Then the Phoenix Suns. Then the Chicago Bulls. All those games are home. The Pelicans are below 500. The Hornets are below 500. The Raptors are below 500. And the Bulls are below 500. All right, the Phoenix Suns and the Atlanta Hawks are the only 2 teams in this stretch that are below 500. Now, I believe the Hornets are the Phoenix Suns and the Atlanta Hawks are the only 2 teams above 500. I believe the Charlotte Hornets are just 1 game below 500, though, but they have lost 4 in a row. I don't want to say it's a soft schedule because all of these teams, the Hornets, the Hawks, even the Raptors, the Suns, and the Bulls are all battling for some type of playoff positioning. The Bulls are battling for a 10th seed. They're in the 10th spot right now. The Phoenix Suns are the number 1 team in the league, according to the NBA.com. They are 40-15 they have the second best record in the West. Charlotte Hornets are battling for 7th, 8th seed. The Hawks are battling for that 4th seed. The Raptors looking for the 10th seed. But they are teams that are below 500. So let's start there. When you look at that schedule, Josh, what do you think the Knicks go when you're looking at that schedule? I'm looking at every team except for the Suns. I'm even looking at the Suns and saying that we haven't seen them yet. So,
they haven't seen us yet.
They haven't seen us yet either. They haven't seen us yet either. So I'm just expecting that the Knicks are going to battle them. Right? I don't expect the Knicks are going to get blown out against anyone that they play right now. I honestly feel that way. Do they beat them? Who knows? Definitely going to be a tough game, but I just don't see the Knicks getting blown out. They fight. There's only been about 3 or 4 games where they really got smacked. But of course, New Orleans, beatable. Charlotte, beatable. The Hawks, we've beat them twice already. They weren't at full strength, but they're beatable. The Raptors, we just beat them. They're beatable. The Bulls, they're beatable. What's your take in that stretch, Josh?
I feel confident in saying that we can win 4 out of the next 6. I feel really, really confident by saying that we can win 4 out of the next 6. Particularly if you look at the Eastern Conference teams, the Hornets, the Hawks, the Raptors, and the Bulls. I've always said that between 4 and 10, those teams that are in that 4 to 10, in the Eastern Conference. And I know the Bulls are out of it right now, but they can easily be in that top 10 or whatever. It always comes down to matchups. And I believe the Knicks have favorable matchups against the Bulls, the Raptors, and the Hawks, based on what we've seen this season. And with the Hornets, they are truly missing LaMelo Ball. They miss him tremendously. So I think, they're not playing as well. So I think we can definitely win. And that's, if you count the Pelicans, that's 5 out of the next 6. You know what I'm saying? But, I'm just being humble. And I'm saying 4 out of the next 6 because the way the Knicks are playing right now, and I look at the other teams that we're going to be playing in these next 6 games, I definitely feel like we can come out of there with 4 wins. No question. And if we don't come out with 4 wins, I feel like we're going to compete in every single game. There's not one game that the Knicks have on the schedule right now that I feel like, okay, we have no chance of winning. There's not one game on the schedule because of the way we play defense. Just that alone, because of the way we play defense, I feel like we have a shot in every one of those games. Yeah. But 4 out of the next 6 is what I'm going to go with.
Okay. Well, what about you, Kev? You need to hear those teams again?
No. I can tell you right now, I'm gonna go one up on Josh. I think we can win 5 out of the 6. The game that I think we'll lose is probably the Phoenix one. But again, as many times as we've underestimated this team, they always seem to, rise to the occasion. So with that being said, I think we can go 4 out of 5. It would not surprise me at all if we won all 6. It wouldn't surprise me.
Okay. All right.
Wouldn't be surprised either.
Yeah. And if they do that, this team, it will be clicking on all cylinders going into the last stretch of the season. And Tibbs is not going to follow the what these other coaches are doing with their players. He's going to play them all. He's not going to give nobody a rest or nothing. He's going to play them all.
Hey, let me say that. I think this is a critical stretch. Could be one of the most critical stretches of the season because it's favorable. We're home. And big shout out to the Entertainer Talking Sports. Thank you for joining me. I'm jumping into one of your shows one of these days, man. I'm just always busy, but I'm gonna be there, Entertainer. I promise you. But this is a critical stretch. Critical stretch, I think, for the Knicks. We have some favorable matchups. New Orleans, Charlotte. You know, we'll see. When we've played the Hawks before, they haven't been at full strength. They were kind of discombobulated. They've got some chemistry. They're coming along. We'll see what that's like. The Raptors, the Bulls, I think we have some favorable matchups, and we're home. Yes, I think in my opinion, I feel like we have to get 4 of these next 6 games. If we get 4 of these next 6 games, we'll be 34-29. 5 games above 500, going into one of the toughest stretches of the season. Right, so that's why I think this is critical. Critical.
Very critical.
G-Man, what do you think, man?
Very critical. So I think out of those 6 games we got left, we get 5 of them, honestly. And I think the factor here is going to be how soon does Brooks come back? Because, you know, tonight, Randle played a whole bunch of minutes. And he was in his bag tonight. Yeah. Don't get it twisted. He in front of his home crowd. And he was doing his thing, right? But that's not sustainable. Let's be real. That's not how we want him to play ball. But without Brooks being on the floor, the Knicks were struggling to find other offense. RJ finally got his thing going in the fourth. Rose contributed, but and who else had double figures? Oh, Bullock. Bullock had 11 points. So, you know, we need other people to be able to score. And my hope again here is that, you know, through Tibbs' rotation, he figures out who the scorers are, who can contribute. But this was a major boost right here. I think that this was personal against the Mavs. And then going into the game against the Pelicans, we just beat them, so they're going to come back hungry. And they got to come into the Garden. But we at home now, and we coming off of a win. So I'm not going to say who I think the loss is going to come against, but at some point, we will slip. Nobody's perfect. We will slip. But out of those 6 games, I feel like we'll get 5 of them.
Well, what if we get all 6?
And we get all 6.
And we get all 6. That's a silly question, Kev. You know what? Sometimes you need to be seen and not heard. Just
Hey. Now I'm trying to be nice. I could have been like, he didn't take his Geritol, so he needs to go to sleep and everything. I could have said that. And I could have said to the other Debbie Downer, you know, on the bottom here, you know, you should have seen his text as soon as we went on a little bit of a slump. You should have seen his text. Like, here we go.
Oh my goodness, Kev. I'm sorry, Sam. I'm sorry.
I mean, you know. Listen, let's put it like this. First of all, I'll just say this about winning all 6. Obviously, teams do it, right? But now you're talking about an 11-game win streak. Listen, at some point, it's going to happen. You know, you're going to take an L. It's very hard to win that many games in a row in the NBA. Not impossible. Obviously, we've seen teams go on 20, 25, 27-game win streaks and stuff like that. But it's very hard, especially when you have a team that, well, right now, you know, they're kind of clicking. They're doing some things offensively and playing better offensively. You know, but we all know that they can go into the doldrums a little bit. We'll see. If they take it one game at a time, that's it. I know we're looking forward, but they got to take it one game at a time, and I think they'll be just fine. Now,
I'm rocking, G, man.
When you take a look at the after these 6 games, after the 6-game homestand, right? The schedule's going to get a little bit tougher, right? After the 6-game homestand, they're away at the Rockets. You would think they should get a win. They played Memphis at home. Memphis is going to be looking for get-backs, but that's a winnable game. They play the Nuggets, they play the Suns, and they play the Clippers.
Man.
And then they play the Lakers. So that's a tough 4-game stretch right there. It is going to be entirely critical to me that they go at least 4-2 in this homestand, and then they get that Houston game, get that Memphis game, and then see what happens with Denver, Phoenix, the Clippers, and the Lakers.
Do you think between Phoenix, the Clippers, and the Lakers, you think they sit some of their guys?
Who knows?
No.
It's all going to depend on what's going on down the stretch of the season at this point.
Not the Lakers for sure, because the Lakers
Definitely
are kind
not
of
the
slumping a
Lakers.
little bit, and they just
Sound
getting back
like
Anthony
barbecue
Davis.
chicken to me.
They getting back Anthony Davis. I think the Clippers are not going to do that because, again, they're still jockeying for playoff position in the Western Conference.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Nuggets might be winnable because they don't have Murray anymore. So that's a game we can probably look at. But they're a really, really good team, a really solid team. But
Yeah.
Isaiah, if we beat Denver, I'm gonna remember that face you just made. But okay.
Hey, Sam, can I?
One at a time. Hold up. Whoa. One at a time, guys, because when we start talking, it gets too much background feedback. We got to go one at a time.
So can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Man, let's go, man. I was in here. I think my neighbors called the police on me, man. I didn't even care they was at the door. Let's go, man. My man Julius Randle cooked. And I was looking at the schedule too. There's a lot of winnable games on there. But man, we look really good out there tonight. Together.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest with you, man. We talking this, you best to believe, I don't care what team we got. Look, they marking us on their calendar scared because they going to run into this defensive wall. So we ain't the only ones worried.
No, I agree with you there. I definitely agree with you there. Teams now know, listen, 15 games left to the season. You know, you've already played 57 games. Teams know, okay, this is a real defense, probably the best defense in the league. You know, we got to come out ready to play because they're going to be physical. They're going to clamp down. We got to know what we're doing when we're out there. So teams are definitely, they're not just looking at this team like, oh man, they got a little lucky throughout the season. We're going to walk over them. They know what's going on with this defense and it's real. And we are better. Like we played the Clippers earlier in the season. We're a little bit better now. We played the Nuggets earlier in the season. We're a little bit better now. Still, that is a lethal team. They are lethal. I see your hand, Isaiah. I'm going to finish saying what I'm saying. Right? They are a lethal team. Very lethal. And, of course, the Lakers are going to have their guys back. They're going to be fighting for position. They don't want – right now, the Lakers are in the 5th spot, and – they're in the 5th spot, and they're just 3.5 games out of being in that 7th spot. They don't want to be in that 7th or 8th spot. They don't want to
play that elimination game.
Right. They don't want to take any chances. So I do think that they'll be playing their guys.
Yeah.
I think they'll be playing their
guys.
Yeah, they'll be playing their guys.
2 cripples? Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead, Isaiah.
Yeah. First of all, shout out to you, Sim. Shout out to Kev, Kareem, Josh, G-Man. Shout out to my main man, White Chocolate, the entertainer, talking sports, my main man. We got 600 people here. We got 264 likes. Can we at least get to 400?
Yeah, get those up.
Can we get to at least 400 people? My man's doing the best job out here. He can get 400 likes. Come on now. So Sim, first and foremost, proud of the team. We're on a 5-game winning streak. You can't ask for any more. These guys are stepping up. With a situation like this where the Pacers lost, Hornets lost, and the Heat lost, this was a really important game to create separation in which the Knicks did.
Yep.
So, it's really important, and it shows you the makeup of this team. So as I'm saying that, I just, again, right, I want to take it one game. I'm with you, Sam. We got to take it one game at a time. Listen, I get it. I know. We're excited. We're in the crunch time. We are winning. We are on a 6-game winning streak. But we also got to take, in case that, the Knicks have lost close games. We've had 3-game losing streaks, 4-game losing streaks. We've had that this season. So I know we're happy. We've beaten good teams, but we got to take this one game at a time again. We can't start looking ahead. with we're going to beat this team, we're going to beat that team. Listen, man, the Knicks have won 30 games, but we lost 27. And I'm not saying that, we have lost close games. We have lost a lot of games. So this is still crucial. Like I said, we're going to take it one game at a time. I believe in this team. We can actually do it. And like you said, we're going to lose. There's 16 to 15 games left. People, I want you to know we are going to lose. And it's
like
going to be
everybody
okay.
else going to lose, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're right, Kareem. Everybody else is going to, certain teams are going to lose.
The NBA, man.
It's the NBA. It's sports. So, as long as the Knicks can create some separation, get a little more cushion, and I agree with you, Sam, we should, with this homestand, realistically, if we go 4-2, and again, I'm not trying to, if we could do something like that, I'll be fine, because then that West Coast trip is going to be real.
Here you guys. Here you go. Here you go.
Hold on, let him finish.
It's tissue. It's tissue for him.
Hey, here you go, man. Here you go. No, but again, right, so if we can go 4-2 in this homestand, which is possible, extremely possible. We got to be very disciplined, and we can't get lazy that we're home.
Yeah.
We can't get lazy when we're home, because right now I think the Knicks. I felt like the Knicks and Tom Thibodeau and all the coaching staff knew what the situation was, that we were close to that play-in. And you have a team like the Raptors, you have a team like the Bulls. When they're healthy, they're formidable against us. So again, you don't want to be in that play-in. You want to be in that 6 seed. And like I said before, the Knicks have they're still taking care of that job of creating separation. So again, this homestand, if we can be that 4-2, and then if we go on that West Coast trip and we can at least go 2-4, I'll be fine with that. That's realistic against those teams that we're facing, because again, we're facing the Nuggets team that, even though they don't got Jamal Murray, they are still killing teams. You got the Clippers that are just being the Clippers. You have the Lakers that are gonna be there, and you have the Suns that are just that team is amazing. The ball movement on that team, which can really kill us. So again, right, and I know we have the defense, but you got to be realistic. Those teams are very good, and they're doing really big things. So, if we can do that, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I think everyone is pretty much realistic in knowing who we're playing. I will say this. When the second half of the season started, everybody was, oh my gosh, this is, it's going to be a terror, this and that, this, that, and the third. Now, all of a sudden, we're 3 games above 500, and we're looking at a schedule where we can say, wow, we can get 4 of the next 6 games, realistically speaking, not even being optimistic, like realistically looking at the teams that we play and say, wow, we can get 4 of the next 6 games to set us up for this West Coast trip. Where in this West Coast trip, there's 4 games that you're really concerned about in this West Coast trip, and then 1 game that you're kind of like, hey, this is really going to be a battle. Talking about the Memphis Grizzlies, this is going to be a battle, a defensive battle, and you got to come correct, and they're at home. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden, it looks a little bit different. Then the last 3 games we play at home, we got the Spurs, the Hornets, and the Celtics. The Charlotte Hornets and the Celtics games, depending on where we are in the standings at that time, are going to be really, really important games. Both of those games, well, let's hope that we beat the Hornets when we see them during this homestand. It's important that we beat them. That could be one of the most important games in this homestand. That and the Raptors. Now, I don't think we're going to be down near that 10th seed, but we got to take care of the Raptors. We got to take care of the Hornets, and we got to take care of the Bulls. Those are 3 of the most important games during this homestand, right? Because
there's no question.
If we beat the Raptors during this homestand, we tie the season series. I'm sorry, if we beat the Hornets, we tie the season series. If we beat the Raptors, we win the season series. And then if we beat the Bulls, we win the season series. So now we own those tiebreakers. So those 3 games in this stretch, not just getting the wins, but the reason why we get those wins, they're just important games. We need them.
And Sim, Zach LaVine, again, I'm not going to lie to you. I hope he doesn't play. I hope Zach LaVine doesn't play. If Zach LaVine doesn't play, then you have to beat the Bulls. You just have to. And then, like you said, you have to beat these teams to get the separation and to get these to get the series wins over these guys. Because again, I'm telling you, that West Coast trip sim, it's gonna be a killer. It's gonna be a killer.
The way you're talking, it's like you don't believe in this team. You don't think Tibbs is gonna have this team.
Yo, Kev, you know what I'm about to say, man? I see a whole bunch of barbecue chicken ahead of us, man. I'm there, bro. I'm on 10, bro.
But hold on. Wait 1 second, Josh.
Get the violin real quick.
Kev, and I know you're trying to think I'm not being negative, Kev. I'm really not. It's called being realistic. Kev,
you don't want to be stuck in purgatory, right?
Hold on, one at a time.
Hold on. Yo, y'all act like the Suns are not the second best team.
That's the only team I'm worried about, bro. That's the only team I'm worried about.
Wait, hold on. So
everybody else,
the Suns are the second best team in the West.
Chicken, bro.
The Nuggets, bro, even without Jamal Murray, they still have one of the best offenses in the league.
I got him. Let me get him. Isaiah, let me get you real quick. Here, let me get you real quick, right? Because when we beat Boston early in the season, first thing you said was, well, they didn't have Jason Tatum, and we beat them by 40. This team that we're playing the Nuggets, they're not going to have Jamal Murray. So what are you going to say when we beat them? They didn't have Jamal Murray?
But the Celtics beat us when they had
by one possession. We beat them by 40.
But did they beat us?
By one possession, bro. One bucket. We beat them by 40.
Josh, it don't matter if we beat them by 40, if we beat them by 1, we beat them. If they beat us, bro, it don't matter. Josh, what are you talking about? Come on, Josh. I know you play sports, bro. You don't do that. Don't do that one possession crap. They beat us.
I think the point that he's saying is that we could still beat them even if they had Jason Tatum there. We still could win the game. Yes, we lost by one possession, but we still could win the game. We were right there within. We were right there. We still could have won. I think that's the point he's making.
But Sam, no disrespect, but guess what Jason Tatum did in that fourth quarter? He took over.
Marcus Smart is
I'm not even going to get into that argument again because we had two guys that stood off with their two guys. I mean, and it was a game that came down to one bad defensive lapse by Reggie Bullock and a good shot by Marcus Smart. Both guys had players that took over. So it's not like we just, oh my God, we just couldn't do anything because we came right back with R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle.
And then you know what he's going to say, Sam? If we beat the Nuggets, it's because they didn't have Jamal Murray.
I wouldn't say that. You gotta go in. You gotta go in. But y'all treating the Nuggets like,
bro.
Like they just.
We're not saying that. I'm not saying that.
I'm saying the Knicks are going to compete with them. It's not a guaranteed W for the Nuggets. The Knicks are going to compete with that team.
And
with every team they're going to compete with.
And the other
thing, we play like we played tonight, man. We could beat anybody, man.
Yeah, I mean the way.
Lord have mercy.
The way that
you know what? But you know what?
Sim, real quick, Sim. What is it gonna like? Like, bro, I didn't think it was gonna be this way. The way it's looking so far, we are legit. Not saying that we can't lose, but it's been for most of this season, I would say over 80% of the games we were in those games. Even the ones we've really been blown out. A lot of these games we beat ourselves. It comes down to calls, knowing we don't get calls. It comes down to turnovers.
But Kareem, there's another team on that side too.
Give us some knowledge, please. G-Man, give us some knowledge.
I understand that, Isaiah, but what I'm saying is that we are going to be in a majority of these games coming up. We're going to be in those games.
It's not going to be blowouts.
It's not going to be blowouts, bro. Let me ask you a question, Isaiah. Did you think we were going to win? I bet you a bunch of Knicks fans didn't even think we were going to win tonight. Once I seen the way we played defense and Julius Randle was going on, I'm like, yo, this is souffle and panada barbecue chicken, bro. I knew it was in the bag, bro. I knew it was in the bag, bro.
I'm getting hungry right now.
Go ahead, Isaiah. Then I want to get the Tom Thibodeau. Go ahead.
But listen, again, right? It's not. I wish people stop trying to think I'm being negative. It's nothing about being negative. It's about it's about being realistic to a lot of the things. The Knicks are going to lose. Can we all agree that the Knicks are going to lose?
We've already said that. We've already said that we're going to lose.
All I'm saying is that we have the
Why
teams
can't
like
you enjoy the ride? Why can't you enjoy the ride? Why can't you enjoy?
God, bro.
Let me get the Tom Thibodeau, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get the Tom Thibodeau. Let me get the Tom Thibodeau, man. I will say I don't think anybody was not being realistic. We were just talking about how important this 6-game homestand was because of the teams that we've got to play on the West Coast trip. I don't think anybody was being unrealistic. We said 4-2.
I'm seeing barbecue chicken over there too.
But here we go.
Over there. I'm just saying.
Tom Thibodeau, ladies and gentlemen.
Steph Bondy.
Hey, Tom, that run to start the fourth quarter seemed to give you guys the momentum, and you left RJ in there to start that fourth quarter and played him throughout. Can you just talk about that decision to leave RJ out there?
Well, I thought, we were trying to match up taking Julius out when they took Doncic out, and so we felt we needed another scorer out there, and I was just going to run with it a couple minutes, and then it sort of that group got on a run, and RJ got on a run. So we went with it, and it worked out. I thought Frank gave us good minutes, too. We needed another defender in there. So I thought that was important. And the block and the rim protection from Nerlens was
trying to leave him alone.
Reggie battled all game on Doncic, and that's not an easy task. We had a number of guys just step up and play really well. So we got to take that. Obviously, there's things that we can do better, and we got to make our corrections. And we're going to have a quick turnaround for our next game.
Mark Berman.
This late in the season, to see Julius look so fresh and sharp, I mean, is it still amazing what he's doing out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think he prepared himself for this, and I think you can't overlook that. I knew when I saw him the first time in the summer the type of shape that he was in, and so I've had a number of players throughout my career that are that type of player, and they all prepare themselves extremely well in the off season so they can handle the workload that they're going to have, and they command a lot of attention when you're scoring the ball and making plays the way he is. He's rarely single covered, and he's making the right plays. He's making winning plays. The way we started the game, his aggressiveness set the tone for it. And I've said it many times, he's our engine. He makes us go.
Steve Popper.
Hey, Tom, this 5-game winning streak is the longest for the franchise in 7 years. Are you happy?
Am I happy?
Yeah.
I'm never happy. No, and we try not to get wrapped up in any of that stuff. I think you don't want to get lost, and that's the most important thing. I think to understand what goes into winning, I think if we're taking care of all the little things, the big things will take care of themselves. Just stack good days. We want to have good practice days. We want to have good shoot-arounds. We want to play our best in the games. We want to learn each day, and we want to keep getting better. And if we do that, we're going to have a good chance. I think we have a belief that we can win, and that's probably the most important thing. And it started that way at the beginning, and it doesn't really matter what outside people think. It's what we think.
Ian Begley.
Tom, what did you think of what you got from Nerlens tonight?
The rim protect, the block shot was. There's a lot of plays throughout the course of the game that are just defined as winning plays, and they give your team confidence. It unites your team and inspires your team. And when you see someone make a play like that, it gets people fired up. And that's what he does. He makes great effort plays. He protects the rim. He covers up a lot of mistakes. We had guys flying around, and you have to when you're trying to guard a guy like Doncic. It requires more than one. And you have to be in. You got to try to stop the ball. Then you have to get out. You got to cover the line. You got to challenge the shot, and then you got to finish with the rebound. That requires a lot of effort, and you got to be flying around. If one guy's doing it slowly, you're going to give up a wide open shot. So you need everyone tied together, and the team has made that commitment, and he's the anchor back there, and that's his role.
Ian O'Connor.
Yeah, Tom, outside of Randle's conditioning, is there something that he's shown you in his game that maybe you didn't know he had before you started coaching him?
Yeah, I think the big thing is like when he added the 3-point shot, and that just opened up everything else. He's always been terrific on the block. He can always face up and he beat you off the dribble, but he was more of a mid-range guy, and he sort of has really extended his range. And then the playmaking, he's a lot more patient. I think he's reading the floor extremely well. He's creating easy offense for us. He's making really good decisions. But I think he prepared himself well for the season, and I think his confidence comes from that. It's what you put into something, and he's put a lot into it.
Mark Berman.
Hey, Tom, probably won't talk to you tomorrow. And with the Pelicans rematch coming up so soon, I mean, obviously they're going to make adjustments, but is there some things you're looking at for that contest against Zion and maybe Lonzo?
Yeah, I think Lonzo played tonight, so that they'll make them different. So we're going to have to be ready for that, and it's a quick turnaround. It's an early start, and we got to be ready to go. So we know the challenges that we'll face, and when you're going against a guy like Zion, in many ways it's similar to Doncic in the sense that it requires more than one, and you can't give him any gaps. And Ingram is a load to deal with. If he gets going early, it could be a problem. So that team has a lot of weapons.
Last question, Steph Bondi.
Yeah, just looking forward again. You got this big home stretch coming up. Do you look at this as, I mean, what are the challenges when you play that many consecutive games at home? Is there any different?
Yeah, and again, I don't want us like looking ahead. And sometimes when you think about all the psychological advantages and disadvantages that you may have, you think about everything, and so sometimes you could get distracted easily being at home for an extended period of time. So that's a challenge. Just be ready for the next game. Be ready for your recovery, your preparation. Understand what goes into it, and take it day by day. It's whether it's a long homestand or a long road trip. It's all the same. Each game counts the same. So you have to go step by step. Don't skip any steps, and come out with that edge and try to get better each and every day.
That's Tom Thibodeau, ladies and gentlemen. I did want to come to you, G-Man. I wanted to ask you a question. How different does Lonzo, if he plays on Sunday, and again, that game is at 1 p.m., if he plays on Sunday, how different does that make the Pelicans?
Oh, my God. That's like the difference between night and day, honestly. So you're talking about a dynamic person with the vision of the floor that changes the pace of the game, number one. Mm-hmm. And whereas you didn't have someone that could distribute the ball the way that he does with the outlook. So the defense that we were able to play on Ingram then, that goes away. That goes away. Because now you're talking about people cutting to the basket. People are exploiting those passing lanes. And Zion, Zion always wants to go to the basket, right? Mm-hmm. But whereas the last game, he had to dribble penetrate to the basket. Now Lonzo's getting him the ball at the front of the rim. That's dynamic. So Tibbs is going to have to figure out what defense he can put in place to negate that, and that's going to be difficult, especially if it depends on what our lineup's going to be. And right now we're looking at Burks not being in the game. I think and I hate to say this, Kev, put your fingers in your ears. Put your fingers in your ears. I hate to say this. Lord, I hate to say this. But I think that we're going to have to see a lot more of Frank in the game against the Pelicans, because we need that length to negate what Alonzo will be able to bring to the court. Now, this is also predicated on how healthy is Lonzo going to be. I don't know the extent of his injuries. I don't know if they're rushing him back because they're losing too many games. I just don't know. But if he's 100%, we're going to have a problem. If he's 80%, we have a problem, but not so much. And he won't play as many minutes.
Yeah, because the other thing with that is Bullock is going to be sticking Ingram. He's not going to be stuck on him.
So I don't think so. Again, we cannot take what the defensive scheme was last game and apply it to this game coming up if Lonzo's playing. You got to take that whiteboard, get you some alcohol, put it on a paper towel, take all that off the board. None of that matters no more. You got to come up with a whole new game plan based on what the personnel grouping is that we're going to go up against.
Yep.
Yeah. Josh, what do you think, man?
Like I've always been saying, Tibbs doesn't need to change anything with his rotations. He doesn't need to change anything. The same thing that Tibbs has been doing when we had that 2-game losing streak is the same thing that Tibbs is doing when we won 5 games in a row. It's all about how the Knicks come out and how they decide to come out and play against these teams. Are they going to match the intensity of the other team, or are they going to, just lay down, flat out lay an egg and give up some easy buckets on defense? Simple and plain as that. If the Knicks come out and do everything that they've been doing the entire season, they will be fine. They will be fine.
No, I'm not talking about them being fine. What I'm talking about is how does Zoe change the Pelicans so that you can game plan for them? Because there's no doubt about it that what he brings to the table, you've got to game plan differently. Because the last game, it was basically on Zion to be the facilitator and the distributor. Right? They use him. They already use Zion kind of like the Knicks use Julius Randle. But now with Lonzo out there, they can do it a little bit differently. Right? If Zion is unable to draw, double team or whatever, you have Lonzo who can create for other people that's out there on the floor. So your game plan and the way that you defend has to be a little bit different. It's not going to be the same. You don't have to worry. It's not Brandon Ingram and Zion trying to run a screen and roll.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's Lonzo and Zion running that screen and roll or pick and pop. And Lonzo's a much better passer than Brandon Ingram in those type of situations. I think it does change the game a little bit. They're going to be a different team if he's playing. So it's not that the Knicks have to do anything different personnel-wise, but strategy-wise,
scheme.
It's going to be a different defensive scheme, you know what I'm saying, in the way that they defend this team. You don't think so, Josh?
I think. Listen, they got to close out on shooters, close out on Lonzo Ball when because he's been very good from the 3-point line this season. I think we all can agree on that. So just close out on him. Don't let him get any easy buckets. I still think we should trap Zion in the half court a little bit more. Try to get the ball out of his hands and make someone else beat you. That's the way I would play it. And I think that's what the Knicks tried to do the last game. They try to limit Zion a little bit. But I'm not really concerned. Even if they have Lonzo Ball, I'm not really concerned. I really don't think Lonzo Ball to me doesn't really scare me as much as other players do on that team. Well, I'm more afraid of Brandon Ingram and I'm more afraid of Zion Williamson. That's just my opinion.
Well, Sim, I'm definitely a little more cautious. I'd be a little more afraid if they added Lonzo to the starting lineup, because again, right, what Lonzo does, Lonzo organizes the team. To me, it wasn't really that much floor general with Eric Bledsoe and Kira Lewis. You have a guy that's a legit threat. He's shooting 38 to almost close to 40% from 3. So again, right, if Lonzo kicks it out to him, if we're double teaming Zoe or Ingram, they can just easily pass it out to Lonzo, and he can hit the shot. So again, right, and then also we're talking about the fast break. This team is going to want to run, and Lonzo's a great rebounder. And him, when the minute he gets the rebound, he's already looking ahead. He's already looking ahead up there, and he's ready to pass it to the player. You know that, Sim. So again, right, I'm gonna be a little more afraid because this team is gonna have a better defensive player, a guy that can shoot, a guy that can organize the team, a guy that can run the fast break. This is all this Lonzo Ball does, and this is why he's so coveted right now. This year in free agency. So I would be a little worried. I would be worried. I am worried if Lonzo plays, because it's going to be definitely tough. So we better. I hope he doesn't play.
Well, I'm not worried. I think about how the Knicks are going to come out and play and battle against them. I'm just what's the game plan, because he does change the team, and he will. He's going to get the ball ahead. Right. And also, like the second unit, if you take Lonzo and you put him out there with those second unit guys, you don't need you can give Zion a little bit more rest because Zoe can help get those guys involved, find those guys in good spots, and make that second unit a little bit more dangerous. I mean, I'm not afraid to play the Pelicans. I just know that having Zoe out there changes the game, and I think changes your game plan a little bit on how you defend them. Kareem, what do you think?
I like what G-Man said. Definitely, just to go off everybody's take. He definitely, of course, his court vision, definitely makes them a different team. They have a distributor. Also, what he spoke about his health, we will have to see if it's, how healthy he is. Because I like when we played the Lakers the last time, we took advantage of shooters' bad back. So if it's something like that, he's a little off, exploit that. Second thing, I'm not worried about them running. Teams don't really run on us like that because we force teams to play at our pace.
That's true.
For the most part.
That's true.
So I'm not worried about that.
That's true.
So we force them to grind and grit it out, and that's why we've gotten the wins that we've gotten this season.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it comes down. That's the most logical thing I could think of. It just comes down to how healthy he is coming in the game. And basically also if he's hurt, let's exploit that. Like rough him up.
Yeah.
Use some of those powers.
And look, tonight he played tonight, didn't really play well. 4 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, only 19 minutes. I don't know how many games he was out. Maybe this was a warm-up game for him. We'll see, how he's looking, how he feels when he comes against the Knicks. I do agree with Josh. If we play our game in our type of defense, we
should be fine.
We're going to be right there. We'll be fine. We'll be right there. We'll be right there. And the one thing I can say about this team is whatever the defensive, they've bought in the defense. I don't even want to say bought in. I don't like saying bought in because people always say, oh, go get players that's going to buy into the coach. I want to get players that already think like the coach. I don't want a player to buy in, right? Yeah. Because I know when I buy something and I don't like it, I take it back to the store.
Take it back. I want my money.
You get a refund.
Exactly, and I get a refund, right? So I want players that already think like the coach, and I think that's what we have here. We have players that already think like the coach. But I think the Knicks do a good job of paying attention to the defensive schemes and implementing and executing the defensive schemes that Tom Thibodeau and the coaching staff puts out there for them. They do an excellent job. So whenever the defensive scheme that Tom Thibodeau and those guys come up with, I believe that the Knicks are going to execute it.
I think just like we talked about a little bit ago, from our standpoint on the Knicks side, it's also going to depend on how healthy our guys are too, right?
I agree.
I'm quite sure that we got some people that's nicked up, banged up, but they're still playing.
Right.
So them being able to go down the stretch is going to be important too, especially if it gets to be a physical game.
Yeah. And if all else fails, and Lonzo is getting assist after assist after assist and knocking down a couple of threes, put Frank on him.
I knew you was going to say that.
Put Frank on him.
I knew you was going to say that.
If all else fails, just put Frank on him. That's it. Hey, that's the story about it. That's a story about Frank, right?
That would be the narrative everybody says. Whether you're reading Twitter or whatever pod you go in, they say, hey, whoever the best player is, put Frank on them. Okay.
Yeah. But I ain't gonna lie, Frank has shut him down a few times in the past. But it hasn't been like, it's not a good enough sample size.
I was about to say that.
So it's not even like like a good long enough time span to even gauge how well he would do against Lonzo in extended minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I think it goes back to how we started this segment off, right? The defense that we play against the Pelicans on Sunday has to be team defense. Mm-hmm. It's not one person shutting down somebody else. It's everybody buying into the defensive scheme that the coach sets up and executing your assignment. That's what it's about.
Yeah. Well, we play like we played tonight, brother. We look scary out there.
Hey, fourth quarters, man.
We play like this, man. Woo!
Past few games, fourth quarters, we've really been clamping teams down, and that was, like I said earlier.
Almost scared me, man, and I'm a fan.
like I said earlier, one of the things that I was worried about with the team is that they were putting out so much energy early in the games, they couldn't step it up another notch. And lately, they've been able to step it up in the fourth quarter, defensively, and shut teams down and stop them from being able to get into their sets and do the things that they want to do. And that's really encouraging, man. Looking forward to what we're going to be doing in the next few games.
Hey, Sim. I think somebody in the comment was like, "Man, it's 2:00." I'm like, in my head, I'm like, "Yo, you better get ready. You better get ready for this 6-game West Coast trip." Because
that's what I'm saying. It's practice.
They play late games. They play
six games in a row, baby. This is gonna be the normal.
That's what I'm saying. This is practice. This is practice for them 6 games in a row, boy.
Right.
And what's crazy about this 6-game road trip though? The Knicks don't even get a day in between. I don't even think they get a travel day.
Right.
Nah, it's crazy, Sim. It's crazy.
Wow. Actually, hold on, Sim.
Let me see.
Let me take a look real quick. So, Sim, hold on. I got you right now, big bro.
Oh no, they do. They get a travel day. So they play the Bulls on April 28th. They don't play the Rockets until May 2nd. So they get a couple days.
So they get a couple days.
They gotta give them that.
But Sim, after that, May 2nd, you face the Rockets. May 3rd, you face the Grizzlies.
exactly. So they said, "Oh, okay, we gave you a couple days off. We about to hit you with a back-to-back right off."
And you know what's crazy, Sim? You know what's crazy? Barbecue chicken. Let's go.
Hey, Sim, the funny thing is,
barbecue chicken. Let's go.
So Sim, Monday, May 3rd, you face the Grizzlies.
Line up and come get it.
Wednesday, May 5th, you face the Nuggets. And then the Friday, you face the Suns. And then Sunday, you face the Clippers. But you get a mini break with Monday, and then you face the Lakers on Tuesday.
Yep. Hey. So you got May 9th. You play the Clippers May 9th. No, you don't get no mini break.
You get a right? I mean, I say
I guess you get a break because you're staying in LA.
Which isn't bad at all. Which
ain't bad. So you play May 9th, you get May 10th off, and then you play May 11th, but you're in LA, so you don't have to travel.
Right.
Which is a good thing. Which is a good thing.
But Sam, real quick, right? You know why I'm starting. I'm telling you, man. I got a little theory, right? Real quick, right? So, like for example, because I seen people mention Fizdale and all of that, right? And I was telling my friend, I'm like, man, I believe that we were gonna get Thibodeau originally, but he wanted to take some time, like a year or so, to tweak his system. So when you see us now, man, remember we talked about coming down the stretch. I feel like this team is believing, man, and that's how they able to get this extra gear. Because they did not look tired tonight, man. They look like wolves surrounding a moose. Like it was there, man. They did not. No one looked tired. We weren't complaining. We did do a little complaining, but then we would have teammates come like, "Yo, come on, bro, we got this. Stop complaining. Stop crying."
Yeah.
Like we've been the last 5 games. We've been bringing it, man. And we know we gotta finish strong because I know we want them top 6 spot. I'm not trying to play in that tournament. I'm sorry, and I know they don't want to either, man.
Yeah, and Julius Randle was tired down the stretch. That's why he was missing those free throws. You know what I mean? Because he put in a lot of work this game. Great win by the Knicks, man. Beautiful win by the New York Knicks. Yeah, he gave us 44. Beautiful win by the Knicks. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to head out of here. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. We could probably go on forever, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get me some rest. I appreciate you all for being here. I'm going to go around and get some last words from everybody. Then we're going to head up out of here. G-Man, got some last words, man?
Just, a great team win tonight. This is something we needed, and it's going to perpetuate us on this next, 5-game winning streak we're about to go on. So this is a good start. And when we go back to the Garden, we'll be on and popping.
That's it. Kareem?
Yeah, man. I'm happy. You know, I'm glad. You know, I'm in a like a frenzy right now, man. And you know, just I was going to say earlier to Isaiah, man, we ain't knocking you, bro. We just want you to get on the same spirit level we on, man. I'm feeling like we could run through anybody, baby.
Kareem, I'm comfortable where I'm at right now. I'm good.
All right, bro. If you comfortable, I'm comfortable, baby. Let's go Knicks barbecue chicken campaign. Let's get it.
Let's get Kareem. For some people, it's a defense mechanism. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
It's a defense mechanism. It's like I don't want to get too happy yet because I don't want them to let me down. It's a defense mechanism.
Yeah. But
so it's not a defense mechanism.
But real quick, Simon, then I'm I appreciate you having me. I feel it. It's just different, man. I feel it. I'm believing, man. I feel it. It's just different.
Okay.
We got something here. This is the start of something.
Well, we definitely. You know why it feels different, right? Because you can see that they have a foundation and culture in place, right? And that they have a mindset. They have a mindset in place. You know what I'm saying? You can see it, and whoever they bring in, and what I feel like with this regime is whoever they bring in, they're only gonna bring in people that have this mindset. They're not bringing in people, like I said earlier, to ask them to buy in. These players already think this way, and they're only going to bring in guys like that. That's what I believe. You know, and that's how you want it to be. And if someone comes in and they can't get on board, ship them out.
Bye-bye. Gotta go. Gotta be a culture fit, a good culture fit.
Yeah. Isaiah?
Yes, sir. Everybody thinks I'm negative. Everybody thinks this Debbie Downer. No, so, listen, right? I'm so happy for the Knicks again, right? I remember coming here when it was me, you, Guillermo, Mark, Kareem, and all them. There used to be only 100 people here, and it sucked. I remember that. And I told you before that when the Knicks are good, your channel's going to do good, and right now you're doing great. I'm so proud of you, big brother. But listen, we're doing good. We have been 500 team this whole season, and that's how we're playing. I mean, we're a couple games above 500, but listen, we're doing good. I'm glad that we're doing this. I'm glad we're winning games right now in the home stretch. But again, you've seen this team. We lost games. We lost 4 games in a row. We won.
I think this is what I think, because I agree everything. You know, you got to take it one. As far as from a team aspect, when you're a team, when you're on the team, you got to take it one game at a time. When you're a fan, you're allowed to look ahead because you're a fan. Okay,
that's not how I do it. That's not how I do it.
Yeah, I know, but you're not the coach. The coach is going to say, "Hey," he's going to tell his players, "Look one game at a time." But guess what? The coach is also going to look ahead and say, "We need to do this, that, and the third. These games right here, we got to win. We got to beat Toronto. We got to beat Chicago and whatever other team I mentioned in there. We got to beat." The coaches are going to look ahead and look that way. Trust me, they do. They got scouts at games already scouting and watching so that they can get the film and they can break it down, right? So they already got people looking games ahead. All right? They already got people looking games ahead. But I think one of the things is when the Knicks were on that 3-game losing streak, man, you came in here fired up. You came in here fired up, laughing, smiling. I mean, you was fired up. I told y'all. Tonight you come in here like, well, you know, we got to take it one game at a time. But when they was on the losing streak, I told you. I think that is what people are talking about. That right there is what people are saying. You were more excited. You were more excited that you felt like you was right about. All along we've been telling you this was going to happen, and now that it's happening, nobody wants to this, that, and the third. And what hold up. And what we kept saying is we think the Knicks can rebound. Are you sure? Because they don't have this, that, the talent, and blah, 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 blah. And you came in with mad energy.
We don't have the talent.
But did they rebound? Did they rebound?
Yeah, of course they did.
Obviously. But that's the thing. You don't come in with the same energy.
But here's oh my Lord, this is the funny thing is that look, you talk about me, but every time everybody else come in here,
stop deflecting,
we beat bad teams in a row. Yo, we could go in the 6 games. Yo, we could we could beat the Bucks. We could beat the Lakers.
We did beat the Bucks, and we did beat the Lakers.
But here's the thing, but here's the thing.
We beat the Bucks when they had nobody playing. But okay,
and we beat them when they had people playing. And this is exactly what you was just saying, Josh. Every single time. That's that. You know, we beat this team with that. We beat this team with that. But this is the thing. But this is the thing.
Remember, we were stuck in purgatory and all of that, right?
Right. This is the thing. This is the thing. People are very optimistic about the Knicks, and even in losing streaks, they come in. We can get out of this. We can get out of this. I feel like and believe they can still win.
Yeah.
So they keep that same. They still have the energy for the team. But see, you came in a couple of days ago when the Knicks was losing, and you was all hype. You know what I'm saying? Looked like you took 5-hour energies. Now all of a sudden, now you're crashing from those 5-hour energies. Now you're on the, you're crashing. You're crashing now. You don't got the same vitriol because your points being obliterated.
My points are not being. See, the thing is, y'all act like I want to be right. I don't want to be right, bro.
But this is the thing. The way you came in a couple weeks ago when the Knicks were losing on that 3-game losing streak, you was happy that you was right.
I wasn't.
Go back and look at the video. You was happy that you was right, and you kept us on for 2 hours after the show, talk about how you was right, laughing, hollering, everything.
But Sim, hold on.
Let me get to Josh, man. Let me get to Josh. I'm trying to get up out of here. Right, go ahead. The thing is what? You got 25 seconds. The thing is what?
The thing is, right, when I'm right, y'all don't want to give me credit. Everybody's crickets. Everybody can't be found. When I'm right, but when I'm wrong,
now you just got to be consistent, bro. You just got to be consistent.
No, Kareem, hold on, Kareem. Because you want to know what's funny, Kareem? I'm always consistent. These jokers ain't consistent. They
what are you talking about?
They don't want to give me my flowers.
But Sim, Isaiah, I'm gonna help you out though, real quick. Sim, I'm gonna have to put in. Sim, can you spell vitriol for me?
I can't. I can say it, but I can't spell vitriol for nothing. I have no idea how to spell that joint.
Vitriol,
I guess. It might be an A in there somewhere. I don't know.
I would take the heat off Isaiah real quick. I would take it off real quick.
Josh.
So listen, I'm gonna reiterate this, and I've been saying this since I realized the Knicks were going to be a pretty decent team this year. This team is one player away, and I'm talking about a legit star, one player away from being a top team in the Eastern Conference. And if you don't think it can be done, look at Phoenix. Look what Phoenix did last season. Phoenix missed the playoffs in the Western Conference last season. They finished 34-39 last season, barely missed it, played in the bubble and everything like that. The season before that, they won 19 games. Look where they are right now when they added Chris Paul. They're a top team in the Western Conference.
I'm not even gonna get into discussion with you about what's a real contender versus a fake contender. But I'll let you have that one. You can have that one.
So you think Phoenix is a fake contender?
They're not a fake contender.
Sim, we're not.
I'm asking you. I asked you the question. Do you think they are? All I said is, so you think Phoenix is a fake contender? That's all I asked you.
Yes, they are a fake contender.
Why?
All right, hold on. Okay, go ahead.
No. And I'm asking why, because I wanna rebut that.
But Chris Paul usually gets hurt during the playoffs. The Suns are an inexperienced team. They can easily lose if they face the Mavericks. They can lose to the Mavericks.
Here's the thing, bro. I didn't even say the contender word. I said a top team in the conference. That's what I said. I didn't say anything about contender.
Yes, I agree with you.
But let me answer that for a minute, Josh, because this is while Josh mentioned, look what the Phoenix Suns did by adding a Chris Paul, boom, 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 right? They're a young team.
Mm-hmm.
They are a young team, and they got the second best record in the NBA. And they added Chris Paul to that lineup. So it's not about them being a contender right now, or that they're a fake contender. They're a young team that is growing and going to get better. And part of that is because they added Chris Paul. So they went from a team that made the bubble, made some noise in the bubble, and then added Chris Paul, and then boom, they took a shot up.
That's the next level I'm talking about, bro.
Added some other, they added some other pieces in there, but then boom, they shot up.
That's the next level I'm talking about for this team.
And Sam, when you watch them, they do all of the fundamentals, the way you put a screen, how to come off of it. Everything is done right. It's done down to the T, bro. Everything they not even like, oh my God, it's flashy, but they just fundamentals. They play right. They play the right way.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So the Hawks team that won 60 games, that was number one in the East, was that a contender?
That team.
Why you keep mentioning contender? I didn't say
they didn't have any stars on that team. Bro.
Yeah, but hold up, Josh. Hold up. They were a team when they were young and they were winning games. It was like, hey, these guys could become contenders. They got to a point that they could not get over.
Yep.
Right.
So
the Suns. Right now,
they gave up on that team too quick, too, man.
So,
salaries and stuff like that.
Can someone define for me what your definition of contender is?
Barbecue chicken.
So, wait, G-Man, you want my definition of contender?
Yeah. What's your definition of a contender?
As somebody that has a legit chance to win an NBA title.
So that's subjective. That's very subjective. Very subjective.
It's really not.
That's very subjective.
Does Milwaukee have a chance to win a championship?
Oh no.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, yes.
They've been bounced out in the second round the past couple of years.
Wow.
You know what?
They have been. They have been.
Still a contender. You're right.
They've been bounced out in the second round once. They went to the.
But they're still a contender, though. But they haven't gotten over the hump.
It must be after 2:00 because right now I'm hearing things.
G-Man.
Yeah, go ahead.
G-Man.
Go ahead.
Because people are going to try to clown the Bucks. The Bucks are real contenders.
No. Isaiah.
Bro, you put a zone on him in the playoffs.
No.
So now
this is not what we're gonna do, right? My question had nothing to do with the Bucks. My question was, what is your definition of a contender? I don't care about nothing what nobody else said.
First of all, don't look the word contender up in the dictionary.
What is your definition of a contender? That's my question. Your definition, not nobody else.
A contender is somebody that can actually win the NBA championship. Because actually has a real chance.
A person or group competing with others to achieve something. That's what a contender is.
And before we act like we don't know who a contender is or what teams are contenders, because I know we about to act dumb and act like we don't know what a contender team is.
If we go, bro, anybody that makes the playoff is in contention for a championship.
No, Kareem, no, I'm not.
Top 8 teams.
Kareem, I'm not gonna let you. Kareem, I'm not gonna let you do that, bro. Because you know that's a lie.
That's what it, bro. I'm not saying, bro. You're talking about a championship team. By definition, that's the difference. So you know what the championship team is? The team we know that's gonna win before the season starts. Because we got Golden State going to win it this year. Miami going to win it this year.
So Kareem. Kareem, answer me this, Kareem. So those years the Magic were the 8th seed, they had a chance to win the championship?
They were in contention, bro. They were.
Oh my God! This is
how they
went to the playoffs, bro. Anybody that makes the playoffs is contending for a title.
Sam, hold on. Hey, look.
Why do you have to lie to prove an argument?
No,
bro?
that is the literal. Hold on. Wait a minute. That is the literal definition. Anyone who hold up. Anyone who is in the playoffs. Listen, hold up. Anyone who is in the playoffs is in contention. Now, if you talk about championship contenders, right? So you have a literal sense and a figurative sense, right? A literal sense is anyone who's in the playoffs is contending to win a championship. But when you look at the teams and the power structure of the teams in the NBA, you say, but realistically, these three teams are in contention in the Eastern Conference.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
But literally speaking,
But
anyone
Sim,
who's
you
in the
know what,
playoffs
but
is in
Sim,
contention.
But Sim, I don't like when y'all do that because y'all know I wasn't
just
talking
said
literal.
what you're saying. I was just explaining what he's saying. I just said what you're saying, Isaiah. I'm not going against you on it.
Sam, I'm going to shut it down right now. What happened in the Eastern Conference last season? The 1 and the 2 seeds got bumped by a 5th and a 6th seed. Miami was 5th in the middle of the pack and went to the finals last year.
Watch him say because the East was weak.
No, they just surprised. They took it up and they went. Bro, there's been disappointments. It just comes down to matchups and odds, bro. Like any other sport.
And that's exactly what the Knicks are going through right now. But between 4 and 10, it's all about matchups. Between 4 and 10, it's all about matchups. And Isaiah, you know how your point doesn't make sense? Because I mentioned Phoenix, who's a number 1 seed in the Western Conference, number 2 seed. You mentioned the Magic, who was a number 8 seed. How do you even compare that?
Because I'm just trying to prove.
He was talking about Kareem, yeah. Well, he was saying what Kareem was saying. He was talking about what Kareem was saying.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, bro, is that's the what's the name? The top 8 teams, they contend for a championship.
So, Kareem, we're not gonna talk about the bubble. That bubble.
But I will say you have playoffs.
The bubble happened though. But what I'm saying is, bro, let me tell you something, and I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. Keep sleeping. Miami is that as a playoff type team. Have court grinded out. Nobody don't want to see them in the playoffs. Bro.
I agree.
We gonna do that. They're a playoff team, and they got defenders that can score too. They just I can defend, but I can't shoot like other teams.
Listen. I do agree that there are playoff contenders and championship contenders, right? Teams that you know have, let's just say, have the best shot to win the championship.
But Sim, let's go back to the original thing though, Sim. This started with the Suns.
Right.
Like they're gonna do well in the play. Let's talk about the Western Conference is a monster. You don't get to the second spot by being pretenders. Like what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Are we seriously saying that?
Kareem, I promise you they won't get to the Western Conference Finals. I can promise you that.
Did you think the Nuggets would get into the Western Conference Finals last year?
Thank you, bro. Did we think Miami was going to go to the finals?
Well,
I'm not going to count the Suns out from getting to the Western Conference Finals. They're a good basketball team. And the playoffs is all about matchups. When you play a team, how do you match up against that team? They get the right track. They could be in the Suns are good. Very good. They're a very good team. Everybody, when you look at the Nuggets, the Suns kind of remind me, not in style of play, but in the way that they're looked at. Kind of reminds me of the Nuggets. Because the Nuggets all year last year were the number 2, number 3 seed in the Western Conference. But everybody focused on the Clippers and the Lakers. And just looked past the Suns because they didn't have Kawhi Leonard or Paul George. And just, the Suns are good, but they're pretenders.
Hey, Sam, real quick, this dude just asked me the number 8 seed that's ever won a championship. When I said, you know why I'm speaking this way, Sam? Because nowadays, people, we make these loaded arguments. Like, first things first, the reason why I'm just talking the way I'm talking, words have meaning. Stop trying to change the meaning of words to fit narratives.
Yeah, exactly.
I never said, and people get on my nerves with this. We are just really destroying the English language. We want to, please. If you look up the word, it has a meaning to it. You understand what I'm saying? Second thing, there have been 8 seeds that have disappointed 1 seed. You forgot we were a team that were the 8 seed that went to the championship on a half lockout season. We didn't win, but we made it. We were the only team to do it. So that's why I said it comes down to odds and matchups.
That's an anomaly, though, bro. That's an anomaly.
I know it's an anomaly, but what I'm saying, the original thing was this. It started with the Suns. So, like, it's like people make these loaded statements. Bro, the Western Conference is a monstrous conference, bro. And they are second. Like, let's stop talking like this team is scrubs. They did something to get there, bro. And they got a better record than us. So let's stop that. They're not scrubs. They're in contention. They're second in the entire Western Conference.
Let me give a shout out to Dan Alcanet. He said too much goes into a series. Injuries, coaching, lineups. Anyone who gets a ticket to the dance can dance.
I'll once again reiterate.
I do agree with you, Isaiah, though, about if Chris Paul goes out. Yeah, of course. Yeah, because, he's a big part of their success. So I do agree with you there.
I'm sorry to say you're a liar.
Everybody's making up. Everybody's kumbaya making up. See that? I love that. It is so sweet. About to make me cry.
Isaiah, you my bro. You my bro. We having a heated sports conference, bro. I'm not taking that, bro. You know that.
I just want to finish.
Kareem, you just like, but Kareem.
But I'm just passionate, bro, because I people we take words. We just like, especially us as black people, though. Like us as black people, we really use words, bro, and it's crazy. We gotta know words mean something.
Hey, but Kareem, no, I'm not gonna lie to you, Kareem. Like, you 6'8" and like 450. I'm scared to see you.
We good, bro.
This was Josh's closing argument, and
I got hijacked. I never said the word contender. Word contender never came out of my mouth. I said the Knicks are one player away from being a legitimate top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. Not contender, because you can be a top seed and you can still lose. That all that can happen. I'm saying a top team in the Eastern Conference. That's all I'm saying. And the way this team plays defense, the culture that we have now built, the structure of the organization now looks legitimate. And I got to give James Dolan credit for that. All right, whatever. But but it looks like we're actually building something.
Hold on. Say that again. Say that again.
He straight smooth through that.
Yeah, he blew through that jump.
The organization looks definitely much better right now. The structure is there.
But
the culture is there.
G-Man, you don't understand, because it was me, Sim, and this dude last night or the other night for extra 2 hours.
2 hours.
But anyway, that's where we're at right now, and I hope we succeed in the offseason by bringing in the players so we can become legitimate. And I compare everything this team is doing right now to Phoenix. They set the blueprint for exactly everything that I see us doing. So that's all I want to say.
And when we get to that, when we get that player become the top 4 seed, I want you to give James Dolan the credit. I want you to wear that shirt. I want you to come to the Garden with me with a shirt that says "Keep Dolan." I'm buying one for you, Josh.
But Sim, real quick, I know, but Isaiah, I know what you're talking about. This is what you're talking about, because I say this about certain teams. You talking about those good regular season teams, 76 Milwaukee. And then they get in the playoffs and they either don't have enough dog in them or they have flaws in their game and they can get shut down. So I understand what you're talking about. But they still get there every year. That was the point I was making. And they're still in contention. But we all know they're not going to – we all know based off their record, just like the Raptors when they used to go up against LeBron, the Pacers. We all know once they hit a certain certain team, they're pretty much done based off their past, run-ins with that team. So I get it.
Yeah, but anyway.
And again, I mean,
Oh, go ahead. I'm about to head off, so Isaiah got the last word, man. Go ahead.
Nah, listen, man. At the end of the day, man, it's all fun arguments. And listen, I ain't messing with Kareem. That dude like 6'8", 450, and I'm just not going. And he lied on his face.
And bro, I'm yelling too because I got noise cancellation headphones too, so I really can't hear. That's why I was talking.
Listen, man. Listen. At the end of the day, though, Sim, seriously, man. We argue and stuff, but we all want the Knicks to do good.
Yeah, we cool.
We all want the Knicks to do good, man. So it's like, I'm glad what the Knicks are doing, man. I hope we win as many games as we can. Hope we can make some noise in the playoffs, man. Again, right, that helps us. That helps us get free agents. We're gonna be good. Then we're gonna be watching the games. And then when James Dolan comes down and sees Josh, he's gonna be like, "Hey, I like this kid. Let's take a picture."
That's what I'm talking about.
You know what Josh gonna do, Mr. Dolan? I thank you. I want to take this picture with you.
Yep. and we're gonna post that picture all over social media.
Well, he might kick you out. He might think you playing. Get out of here. You think you're funny?
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're out of here. We appreciate you all. It's 2:30 in the morning. You're still rocking with us. Thank you. We appreciate it. Please subscribe to the channel. We only get about 50 more people. We can give away these Obi Topper rookie cards. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
we are out of here. Have a good night. Sunday, the game is early, 1 o'clock. I'll be doing a game preview a little bit. Yeah, 1 o'clock, man. 1 o'clock. Is it on ESPN?
Yeah, I think ESPN
ABC, no, it's ABC.
You know that's the same company too, right?
Yeah, they're both Disney. It's Disney.
Yeah, man, Disney own everything, man.
I know. That's why I own stock in Disney. I'm telling you, go get Disney, man. You make some money. I'm telling you, Disney does you good with stock, bro.
It says ESPN.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. 1 p.m. ESPN, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, you know, they want to get that Zion versus RJ thing up there and all of that. Well, out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Be peaceful. Spread love. Gone.